Great show, lots of music, some food, and some good conversations. But first, I would like to wish everyone a happy Holi.
Well, howdy, folks. Here we be for a special edition of Crabtree Sessions with my amigo Prabir. Prabir invited me to celebrate Holi with him. It's a Hindu festival, a festival of colors. And I was excited just to hear it. He said something about rebirth and spring, and I got all, excited about it, as spring's my favorite season. Hey, Prabir.
What's up? How are you?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm well. I am also excited about spring. I was walking around Richmond today, and it was absolutely beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. I think probably Richmond gets spring a little bit quicker than where I'm at, but it's definitely starting to feel like spring here as well on the island. So it's beautiful.
Right on, right on. Well, happy Holi, happy Holi to everyone watching as well.
Well, happy Holi. And I'll tell you there, Prabir, I was super excited when you invited me to take part in this with you and told me a little bit about Holi. And actually, tell me a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
For folks that maybe don't know.
Yeah, sure. So it's kind of it's celebrated in a lot of countries, not just in India, but I guess it's rooted in Indian history and Hindu culture. But it's the celebration of spring. It's the ushering in of spring. And of course, the Vedic thinkers love a good metaphor. So, there's lots of good versus evil, celebration of color, celebration of rebirth, a lot of things that you can kind of attribute to spring is tied into it culturally. And, it's, it's a good excuse to cover people in color. So they have festivals where they, douse one another in color. And then, of course, there's a lot of good food, a lot of good music, and a lot of hanging out with family and friends. And it's just, it's a really fun celebration. And it's that time of year where you start to see more color and, life returns because of our, relationship to the sun. And it's just this really wonderful, warm occasion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Sounds beautiful. Sounds like a great festival. So speaking of music, you were saying, you've been playing, right? You and the Prabir trio?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, those are my best buds. Kelly, Russell, and Kanika and I are in a group right now called the Prabir Trio. And we recorded a bunch of tunes. We have an album coming out in May that I'm really excited about. It's actually rooted in a lot of stories about going from India to the US. So it's kind of the story of like being an immigrant, doing the immigrant hustle from one place to the other. So a lot of like songs about learning, the perspective of like, oh, this is how US history is taught, or this is how work is done in the US, or this is my last memory of India, and this is my last time, thinking about a specific memory in India or something, the actual first steps taken in the US as an immigrant, like all of these turned into songs. And Kelly and Russell are phenomenal musicians, and so is Kanika. All of them are phenomenal musicians. And I'm just honored that they even play with me, much less hang out with me. So we actually did a tune called Slowly several months ago. Well, it's on the record, it's on the album. And that one was kind of the most direct tie to India because it's about the literal final conversation I had with my grandmother in India, before she passed. And it was a wonderful, it was one of those moments where you're genuinely fond of the person you're talking to, and you are always just kind of, grateful for their kind of bird's eye view ness of everything. So we did a music video for it. We put it out a few months back, last year in 2020 during the onset of the winter. But it's probably the most colorful offering that we have for Holi as a band. So that was one thing that I was kind of hoping we could share with everybody.
Oh, I'm super stoked. I was hoping you'd say that, Prabir. Do you got a clip of it? Or
There is.
every single word, turn it into thought, put it in a song and turn it into love. Please don't apologize, no one here was late. Everybody knows that life is leaving us behind. You called me up on the telephone and told me you were all alone. Ain't that a shame? You say you crawl into your own, and once you did, you were on your way. You were on your way.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was great, Prabir. I loved that, you know. Beautiful colors, like you said, so it definitely fits in with the Festival of Colors with Holi and everything, and I like it. So is that a traditional thing that people do? They kind of come with an offering for Holi?
Yeah, in some cases, but I think culturally speaking now it's become more just kind of about like the big party. There's a lot of color that they'll have parties for that kind of thing. And then really it's just all about food and hanging out. there are customary offerings that are a part of so many holidays and traditions in general. But yeah, I think for most people, it's still kind of just the spring celebration, family, food, music, and have fun with it. But I don't think anyone's turning down an offering.
Is there now? Tell me, you said food. Is there? So I know. Is this the festival? So folks run through and they kind of throw all kinds of color. I think I've seen it maybe in National Geographic or something. I remember the image is there in my mind when you told me about it. I was like, oh yeah, I've seen that. But so it's like a street festival. There must be all kinds of good food. I'll tell you. So I haven't actually ever been to one of these festivals, and I don't eat as much like different foods as I'd like. I did travel to Patagonia, and when I did out in South America, I ate some, food that I'd never eaten, and it was prepared amazingly. And it made me realize I wanted to broaden my horizon with, different foods from all over. But yeah, tell me about some of the foods that you might find in a Holi festival.
Yeah, well, it depends on where you are, because the northern cuisine, of course, you'll be able to, at this point in 2021, you'll be able to get anything anywhere, just about. But, North has their, few delicacies that they really love. The Gujarati people, where, the middle of India along the Arabian Gulf, they have, there's a certain taste palette there. The southern folks, so there's different variations on flavors all over the country. And all of it is delicious. I love eating all of it, but I think my favorite thing about being in India and being at any sort of celebration is generally when you get the chance to eat the street foods, which is awesome, because in the smallest bite you have a universe of flavor available.
Ooh, I like that description. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so there's so much to experience from such simple bites, and so it's always nice to be able to have access to Indian food whenever I want, because luckily I happen to have a world-class chef in my family who happens. Well, I think she's a world-class chef. She's my mom, so I think she's, of course, the greatest thing ever. But she does make really good food, and she loves sharing that knowledge. So we've got a recipe that Mom wants to share with everybody, and it's for an item of food called pav bhaji, which is a great street food because it comes in I guess a hamburger bun, I guess is the best way to describe it. So it is like a finger food that you could eat, and you could like get on a cart, you could eat on your way to something and wipe off your hands and you're good to go, I don't know how that's going to work, post-COVID or whatever, but that's how it used to be. But the food itself is delicious. And so Mom wanted to share a little bit of the recipe, if that's all right.
Ooh, I'd love to. I'd love to see some of this.
Hello everyone, Namaskar, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Ranna Mehta. We moved to United States 32 years ago, so I feel like this is my home. But today I'm going to share one recipe from India, which is very popular, easy to make, it is very tasty and healthy too. It's called pav bhaji. In Hindi, pav is bread and bhaji means vegetable. So the basic ingredients are all vegetables and seasoning and bread. So let's start cooking. For these recipes, we need oil, onion, peppers, red and orange, garlic and ginger, green pepper, cilantro, boiled potatoes, boiled tomatoes, boiled peas and carrots. And for seasoning, we need cumin, turmeric powder, garam masala, coriander and cumin powder, and paprika, which is called Kashmiri chili pepper in India. Turn the stove on medium heat. We need 2 tablespoons of oil. Let's wait for a few seconds to heat the oil. Now oil is heated. I'm putting half teaspoon of cumin seeds almost 1 cup of onion cut up, ginger and garlic, half teaspoon both. This is green chili. If you don't want more spicy, you can leave this, and let's cook for 2 minutes. It will take 2 minutes. Our onions are transparent and it's ready. I'll go ahead and put the pepper, red and orange. Then goes the boiled potatoes. Then goes peas and carrots. Mix it up. At this point, I'm going to add all the spices we need for this recipe. Put the turmeric powder, half teaspoon. Garam masala, half teaspoon. This is coriander and cumin powder, 1 tablespoon. And this is paprika, 1 tablespoon. It is called Kashmiri pepper in India. It's not spicy, it gives the color to the recipe. Now mix it up everything. It looks very good, colorful. Now I put the boiled tomatoes in it. And little water, like 1/4 cup. Okay, and mash it up, everything with masher. It will take maybe 1 minute or depends upon the potatoes. Some quality, some brand of potatoes boil so fast and some take little longer and it stays little hard, but we will mash everything. Salt according to your taste. I'm just eyeballing. Probably half teaspoon. So pepper and salt you can put according to your taste. Still mash it up, and I put some coriander leaves, fresh coriander. And our bhaji is almost ready. It smells so good. It looks very good. And let's cook for few more minutes. Meanwhile, I can show you how to make pav for this recipe. Still our vegetables are cooking and we are ready to make pav meanwhile. So I have whole wheat bread, but you can buy any hamburger rolls, or if you go to Indian store, they have special bread for this pav bhaji, and put it on the stove. That will take at least 2 minutes to melt the butter and get bread little crispy. You can put butter according to your taste and choice. So this bread is cooking. Meanwhile, we'll check our vegetable. Oh, yeah, it's almost done. At this point, I'm turning the stove to low so it won't get stuck at the bottom. And it's looking really nice. Let's mash little bit more. It's on low heat and just cover it up. I think we are ready now. Our vegetable is ready. Bread is nicely cooked and it is crunchy. And I'm serving now, ready to serve. And let me tell you, this is thali. Thali means it is in Hindi and it's plate. And generally in India, everybody use different shapes and different sizes of thalis to serve the food. So let me serve you. At this point, I'm turning off the stove. It's ready to serve now. And my bread is ready. Let me garnish with little fresh coriander. Tomatoes, cut up tomatoes. And little butter on top. That will enhance the taste of this recipe. Okay, so our pav bhaji is ready and it needs little garnishing. Lemon and pepper is put it in the side and you squeeze the lemon on top of your bhaji. Put some onion, and if you are a pepper lover, then there are fresh chili pepper here. You can eat that also. And this is how you can eat. Take little bhaji, put it on the bread and enjoy your bhaji pav. This is the final bhaji pav ready for you to eat. If you are looking for shortcut to this recipe, there is seasoning pack available in Indian grocery store. It's Rasoi Magic. There are different brands, but I like this brand, so I'm using this brand. In this pack, potatoes and seasoning, everything is included. Only you have to use the oil and pepper, tomato. That's it. And just direction is on the back of the package, so you can save the time and labor and use this package instead. But I prefer the recipe from the scratch, so I've shown you the everything from scratch today. So this is all about pav bhaji. Thank you for watching this video and namaskar.
Wow, Prabir, that was awesome.
Mom.
That looked, yeah, that looked delicious. Yeah, and so your mother's name, Prabir. What's your mother's name?
My mom is named Ranna De Tushar Mehta, and she's like I said, a world-class cook and a musician, and best mom ever.
You can definitely tell that meal looked delicious. I can't wait to find myself in front of that meal someday, and I'm hoping so. I'm hoping being friends with you, Prabir, will lead me to a great dinner with your mama.
She enjoys cooking. She enjoys making food for people, it seems. Mm. But man, my favorite eating experience, potentially anywhere on earth, other than when mom makes me a meal, is this little hole in the wall in Goa. There's this Goa is a coast. Well, Goa is along the Arabian Sea, and there's a city called Kavalosim, which is along the beach. And you just walk onto the beach, and there's this little shack. It's called Dom's Beach Shack, and I mean, there's not much to it, but man, everything you eat there is top notch, you know. And I have yet to have an experience anywhere on earth that has come close to that. And it's just because they just know how to do it, you know. And of course, the environment makes a big difference. You're literally on the beach. There's cows walking around everywhere. There's Russian tourists all around you. It's a very heavily touristed area, touristy area for Russians specifically. But the food is, I mean, yeah, Dom's Beach Shack in Kavalosim, Goa.
I'm gonna write that down right there, Doms, in case I ever find myself in Goa there.
Yeah,
Prabir, I'd like to go there.
it had to be done. It had to be said. It had to be said.
Yeah.
But yeah, and other than food, music is the other thing that kind of drives the Indian experience for me. And I love the notion of putting music in everything, as much as possible. So
I do too. As you know, here at Crabtree Sessions, I'm all about that. And I was super stoked when you had mentioned Holi, and then you had even mentioned to me about maybe collaborating on something and doing some music. And I said, music always perks me up for beer. So you're speaking my language, and I'm just super stoked to learn all this stuff and learn about DOMs, and also that meal your mother was made is just, man, it looks amazing. And so that's the street food too. That was the stuff that you guys would be eating on the street, or like vendors probably sell. It's got a
one of the many, one of the many things. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'll tell you. Well, do you want to show the folks? I think we should probably show them this beautiful thing that we've done.
Yes,
together.
I think this is the time to show the collaborative. This is how many miles apart are we?
I don't know. I could probably Google it and it'd probably give me a thing, but let's check it. Well, howdy folks. Here we be for Crabtree Sessions Special Edition, Holi Edition, my amigo Prabir. Holi is the Hindu festival of colors, celebration of new beginnings, the conquering of good over evil, light over darkness, a rebirth, and the welcome to spring. That was fun, Prabir. I'll tell you, that was a blast, and I like to get that, get something together for you and send it and be able to collaborate. I've never actually done this internet collaboration thing where we work together over this medium.
I had never done that either, and I have to say it was rather challenging because the initial idea was that you were going to send me something and I was going to put sitar on it. That was the initial idea. And so I went to my practice space. I took that piece, which was great. It was, you had like such a good rhythm to it. And I like the fact that it was just the D chord. All right. I think it was basically that it was just this kind of like raga-esque kind of like, hold one thing out forever. I love it. Yeah, I thought it was dope. And so I started to like play around with sitar on it. And it was just like, man, for whatever reason, everything I wanted to do required it to be played much faster or much slower, and I just kind of find myself like not really able to do that. And then so I've been practicing tabla for about a year now because of the lockdown. I kind of assigned myself the task of familiarizing myself with that instrument, and it's been a lot of fun. I've got family members in India who play very, very well. And there are a lot of people here that play very well that I've been able to chat with, on Zoom and such, and kind of get some lessons and pointers. Man, that was the hardest instrument in the world to pick up. I haven't picked up a new instrument in a long time. But I'll tell you, when I heard your rhythm and I heard everything going, to me, immediately I was like, I can play fast stuff on tabla to this, and it's going to be fine. And then so that happened. And then after that, it was a matter of just finding a couple of guitar parts that kind of lined up with it, and there you go. And then it was a blast. I hadn't done, I haven't done that in a long time, and it was interesting to do it just completely in the dark because I didn't know what I was going to get. So thank you for the challenge. It was awesome.
And likewise, thank you for the challenge. Instead of like just playing something I knew, I just said, hey, and I don't play D much. So I was thinking, I was trying to think in my mind on my part was like, oh, he's going to add sitar. And then I was thinking, what does a sitar sound like on a tune? And that's when I was like, maybe D, maybe if I just play D for a while, it'll blend. But yeah, it was a really good time. And I'm excited to, it was kind of my spring ditty with Prabir, coming up with a tune was cool. And that was just one quick little thing. I sent you a little link and whatever, and we blended it. But yeah, speaking of music and playing together like as we just did, I was wondering if you might have a song to share for yourself, something to offer up here for Holi.
Yeah, so the song that I would love to share with everybody is a tune called Rishikesh. It's written about the place, which is in northern India in the state of Uttarakhand. And it's a very beautiful it's a beautiful place up there. It's a strange place up there. It's considered a very spiritual kind of place, the spiritual epicenter of the universe, some call it. But it's got the Ganges River flows through it. There are a lot of temples and ashrams along the banks of the Ganges, and that's where folks do a lot of yoga practices. Many people leave a lot of India, like, folks will leave places like Mumbai and Delhi, and they'll relocate to Rishikesh to just kind of become spiritual, wanderers and not necessarily want to be a part of the rat race anymore. And so it's kind of like in the mountains. It's very natural. It's very beautiful. And there's a bridge there called the Ramjula Bridge, and there's a Lakshmanjula Bridge, the two bridges that connect the banks on either side. And they're suspension bridges because they won't, you can't dig into the water because that would harm the Ganges. So they really respect the river so much that they're even building suspension bridges just to make sure the river doesn't get hurt. So it's that kind of mentality up there, and it permeates everything. And I fell in love with it. I wrote a song about it. The song is called Rishikesh.
Here's a Rishikesh. Rishikesh, I love you 'cause you always bring me down, both feet on the ground. You celebrate my treasures and you celebrate my doubts. Crossing the Ramjula in the middle of the night, I wait for you to give me all I can take. Hey Rishikesh, we live, we learn, we pass, and then we are no longer bound. And the rest we sing about at an arti at sundown. Crossing the Ramjula in the middle of the night, I wait for you to give me all I can take. If you won't look, then you'll never find a your time. Rishikesh, I love you 'cause you always bring me down. Rishikesh, I love you 'cause you always bring me down. Crossing the Ram Chula, never too soon and never too late for you to give me all I can take. If you won't know if you never find a moment that could open your mind, you struggle, worry, hurry and hide until it's your time. Oh, Rishikesh, oh, Rishikesh. Oh, Rishikesh. Jai Jagadish Hare. Something like that.
Oh, that was awesome, Prabir. What a great song.
Thank you, Rishikesh, ladies and gentlemen.
That's beautiful. Well, I'll tell you, thank you very much for inviting me, Prabir. This has been amazing. And you've really broadened my horizons with the whole Holi, Happy Holi and the festival. And now I think it's going to be something I'm going to try to incorporate every year. It makes sense. I love spring. I kind of celebrate it every time it comes, because especially it's that whole rebirth, from the winter, and it's that shift in seasons and everything's the new life, springing forth. So I think it's a beautiful festival that that everybody gets to take part in. So it's awesome.
I'm glad we were able to do this, Michael.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to keep my eye on you, because like you said, you get some music coming out here shortly. And
Yeah. The Prabir Trio is going to put out our record. It's called Haji, which is a Hindi word for yes, like a really respectful yes. To all you people out there, it's a respectful yes. So I hope you dig it. It's going to come out on May 11th, and it will be available in all the places and everything. There will also be a limited vinyl run of it that's going to happen on our Bandcamp. And pre-sales will begin the Friday before that. So very excited about that music. It was recorded at Virginia Moonwalker here right outside of Richmond in Mechanicsville. And it was done by our really good buddy Russell Lacey, who has just the most brilliant ears and knows where all the stuff needs to go to make a record happen. So very grateful for Russell's bass playing, but also his production of this record. So that album comes out on May 11th. It's called Haji. Look forward to that.
Awesome. Well, yeah, and stay tuned for what Crabtree Sessions has going on. I have a show actually coming up next Sunday, and especially it's going to be a great show, folks. I've been truly amazed with all the singer-songwriters that come through Crabtree Sessions, and I'm always looking forward to my Sundays, but I was super excited to spend my Sunday with you for beer and celebrate Holi with you. And so keep shining, amigo, and I'll talk to you soon.
Cheers. Namaste.